Hello everybody, good afternoon. I hope everybody's having a good day. I know Hilo, the air quality was bad. Sorry everybody, I didn't respond to a lot of stuff. I had a 1.5 hour nap. Last night we were kind of going hard, but just to give everybody an update, it's confirmed. Highway 11 near Hawaii Volcano National Park. Cracks on the road. Cracks on the road on Highway 11 between in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. It is confirmed. Just got pictures back. So you know something's happening up in Halimau. Also, fissure 17 is still active, and also the fissure 13 where it reactivated, and fissure 6 still active, and also I think was fissure 19 or 20 is still active. So all these fissures are still active, and there is cracks on the Highway 11 in the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So with that being said, there's something about to brew, and I think today could be the day of the start of this huge eruption. So with the, yep. So oh boy, this is gonna be a big one. So everybody should be should maka'ala their things and take care of themselves, take care of everything, get ready, everything ready. So again, Highway 11 in the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, there are multiple cracks that is developing on the road. I have pictures to show that it is happening. It is confirmed. I have people up there right now. Mr. John Tarson and a couple of his friends have confirmed there is cracks on the road. So with that being said, everybody has to watch out for themselves. And it's something, I can feel it, something's gonna happen, something big's gonna happen soon. So everybody, people in Volcano should be on high alert, and be ready because something is about to brew up. Also, fissure 17 and 18 is still active right now. Still, gas pocket bombs are still being heard and seen, but slowly diminishing. Also, fissure 6, which was reactivated last night or yesterday afternoon, is still active, and fissure 13, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta look at the map. There's too much fissures. Pohoiki, okay, I'm just gonna say Pohoiki Leilani Street, Pohoiki Road, fissure there is still active, and also the one in Lani Puna. It was showing a lot of gas emissions coming out. So with that being said, this whole place is starting. Also, come check me out at Haas School, Haas in Pahoa. We'll be there this afternoon, and I'll be talking stories with a bunch of people. There's going to be a presentation and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to be there talking about what's happening. So aloha, Mr. John Tarson there. He's our eyes and ears up in up towards the park area. So and there's tons of earthquakes that is happening up in Volcano area and up in the park. So Mr. John Tarson will be giving some updates soon. So please check him out. He'll be giving some updates up there, but it is confirmed that there is cracks on Highway 11. So everybody, please be ready. Something's brewing. So aloha everybody, and have a good day. And please share this, because we need to have people in around the east side of the island, Pu'u, Volcano, Mountain View, Glenwood, Curtistown, know what's going on in their backyard. So everybody be ready and makaala your things. So aloha everybody, stay classy, Puna. Aloha.
U.S. were canceled yesterday, many of them due to those storms. Several schools are canceling class today due to some damage. Oklahoma was also hit with high winds and heavy rain. According to the National Weather Service, some areas got more than 1.5 inches of rain in 20 minutes. That led to flash flooding. That trapped some drivers in their cars yesterday, but there have been no reports of serious injuries. Grace, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. Uber is changing its policy regarding sexual assault claims. The company will now allow both customers and drivers to file allegations of assault in open court rather than in secret arbitration hearings. Uber came under fire previously amid accusations of trying to silence women who said they were sexually assaulted by drivers. Thomas Markle says he will not attend the royal wedding because he is having heart surgery today. The father of Meghan Markle told TMZ yesterday that he needs a new stent after suffering a heart attack last week. But just hours before that story broke, Markle told TMZ that he wanted to walk his daughter down the aisle. On Monday, TMZ reported that Markle decided to skip the wedding after it was revealed that he had arranged for paparazzi to take photos of him preparing for the event in exchange for money. Whatever happens, the wedding is still going on, only 2 days away. We'll have live coverage starting Friday night at 10 o'clock on KGMB and at 10:30 on KHNL.
I know Steve was really pretty upset with her father.
He's been so involved in the Royals.
I think emotionally in this.
Yeah,
maybe too much.
Just wrapped up
Maybe
in it.
too much. Let's take a look at the current temperatures across the U.S. mainland. Yeah, that's what it is right now. 82 in New Orleans, 50s on the West Coast, 60s and 70s on the East. And there's the afternoon highs. Very warm in the South. 94s in both New Orleans and in Dallas. 60s on the West Coast, 60s and 70s on the East. Now, let me show you the radar, and you can see as we show you the last 6 hours or so, the wet and very dangerous weather that's occurred in our nation's capital and up there in the New England states. So that's continuing to some extent. Here's our temperatures across the state of Hawaii. We'll have your full forecast in a moment. But first,
it's
time caption.
this.
Take a look at this photo and come up with the words that best describe what's going on right there.
That's some hair.
Yeah, send us your caption. We'll share it with the world.
Bedhead.
Yeah, you'll find that photo on our Hawaii News Now Facebook page. We'll be right back.
From Hawaii News Now and your team for severe weather, this is your forecast.
Kind of sticky out there. The winds are light. The humidity's up a bit. It's not raining over the harbor. The town side is pretty dry, but windward and Mauka areas are wet again today. And we'll show you that on radar. And Lacey will show you with her traffic cameras here in a sec. This is the Ashfall advisory. It's in effect until 8 o'clock this morning. You can see they're saying from the volcano to the west and the southwest. Those are the neighborhoods that are probably going to see the ash accumulation there, maybe a quarter inch or less. Eye and respiratory irritants are possible. If you've got respiratory issues already or allergies, take the appropriate precautions. Stay indoors, stay in the AC, drink plenty of fluids. There's the temperatures and conditions across the state. Windward and Mauka areas are seeing a little bit of shower activity. And then in the afternoon, we'll see some pop-up showers probably in the interior sections with the convective heating because we don't have the trade winds. We've got variable winds, maybe some sea breezes in the afternoon. And the fog coming up the island chain because of a large-scale flow that's from the southeast, but clearly, locally, at the small scale, it is the heating and cooling of the islands that is creating the wind patterns. So here you can see the showers kind of moving up. That's bringing the fog up. That's bringing the showers to the windward and Mauka areas, the east and southeast sides of the islands. Pretty dry for Kauai at the moment. They're fairly clear as well. We've definitely got showers on our windward side. It's coming down pretty hard. So whether you choose the Pali, the H3, the Like, they're all going to be wet. There's some scattered showers for the islands of Maui County and some lingering upslope showers. Looks like the very eastern tip of the Big Island getting a little rainfall right now. I want to show you the wind forecast with computer modeling. Light and variable winds. Overall flow you can see from the southeast. That's what's bringing the fog up. And that's going to continue probably until, well, let's go all the way to Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning. The beginning of the trades on Thursday. Certainly by that evening and by Friday evening, the trades will be pretty strong. So we'll see the trades come back Thursday, Friday. It's going to be pretty breezy through the weekend. And that'll be nice to have those back again. Let's see Lacey's back again with an update on the traffic.
Good morning, Daniel. Very slick, like you had mentioned, out to the windward side, Kahekili Highway, even Kamehameha, seeing some very wet road conditions. Make sure to drive with extra caution this morning. We're also seeing those showers across Pali Highway, the Like. So again, just be careful across all windward routes, even out of the tunnels. Got some really wet roads. Out to the west side, a light drive from Waianae. It's about a 45-minute commute to downtown. You can see easy going here through Kileuea and continuing through the H1, H2 merge. Thankfully, we're not tracking any major accidents, stalled vehicles. A live look here at Fort Weaver Road. It's easy going up to the H1. Same goes for Central Oahu. No slowdowns on the H2 or even Kamehameha Highway. That's your traffic. Back to Grace.
All right, thanks, Lacey. North Korea is threatening to cancel next month's summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. As Laura Podesta reports, the North has already canceled one high-level meeting today.
The White House this morning said it's not surprised North Korea is threatening to call off next month's historic meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
The president is very used and ready for tough negotiations, and if they want to meet, we'll be ready, and if they don't, that's okay too.
The North issued a statement targeting remarks like this one made last month by National Security Advisor John Bolton on CBS's Face the Nation. He said Korea should quickly dismantle its nuclear arsenal, as Libya did 15 years ago.
But is it a requirement that Kim Jong-un agree to give away those weapons before you give any kind of concession?
I think that's right. I think we're looking at the Libya model of 2003, 2004.
The threat to the summit came just hours after North Korea abruptly canceled a meeting today with South Korean officials. The plan was to discuss the recent agreement between the two countries to reduce military tensions. South Korea's unification ministry called it regrettable. The sudden withdrawal was in response to annual combined South Korean and U.S. military drills, similar to this one conducted last year. The Pentagon calls them routine and purely defensive. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
4:52 up next on Sunrise Early Edition, a local woman sets a free diving record. We'll tell you just how deep she was able to go.
You're watching Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
A mural will be dedicated to the late Senator Daniel Akaka this Sunday. It is at Kileuea Elementary School, where he was a principal in the late 60s. That mural was created by artists Jeff Kaneda, Lauren Hanachai, and Lauren Okamoto, and includes a quotation from the late senator. Join us this Saturday as we say a hui ho to the Aloha Statesman. Our special live coverage of Senator Daniel Akaka's Celebration of Life service starts at 1:30 p.m. That will be on KGMB. The USS Arizona Memorial may be reopening later this week. It has been closed for more than a week after a crack was spotted on the visitor loading ramp. Engineers began working on a short-term repair yesterday. Visitors are still allowed on harbor tours, but there are no boat rides right now to the memorial. A Kona woman has set a U.S. free diving record in the Cayman Islands. Shelby Eisenberg dove nearly 279 feet, breaking the previous record of 275. She made it with just one breath and emerged to a celebration.
Shelby Eisenberg!
I was very nervous going into the dive, but on the way up, I was able to stay very focused and stay focused to the end.
Eisenberg says that next time she's going to try to beat her own record by going 300 feet down.
Sheesh.
Incredible stuff.
Good for her. All right, here's what's next on Sunrise at 5. There's a lot of ash coming out of Kilauea, and it's floating off into neighborhoods, and it's already having an effect on residents. Mileka Lincoln is going to tell us just how much of an impact it's had and how much worse it could possibly get. Plus, public school teachers, as you know, already have it tough with their low pay, but they also come out of pocket to stock their own classrooms. How much they spend on school supplies, and where Honolulu ranks amongst the fittest cities in the country. That's coming up next. Hello, Lacey.
Good morning, Steve. Let's take a look at your drive times. A little slick out to the east side, about 26 minutes from Hawaii Kai to downtown, 29 minutes out of Eva Beach, 24 minutes from Mililani.
in high definition from KGMB and KHNL. This is your source for breaking news in the morning. Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
It's 5 o'clock. Lava is still active in Puna, but the focus turns to the summit where huge plumes of ash rise into the sky. Our Meleka Lincoln is back on Hawaii Island to bring us the details on the hazards from all that.
And while the ash is hazardous, that is not the main event that experts are concerned about. The explosive eruption that they are watching for.
And the air remains dangerous in Lanipuna Gardens. Who should be most careful about the poisonous gases causing a condition red?
First up, good morning, Dan.
Hey, good morning. Now from our tower cam looking over the harbor, you can see it's looking nice. No showers here at this location, but on the other side of the Kilauea and on the Kilauea themselves, definitely some rainfall, and Lacey will show you that with her traffic cameras in a moment. Sun up at 5:52, it'll set at 7:03. They've been talking about the Ashfall advisory. Here's the area from the volcano to the west and the southwest. These are the communities that are seeing the worst of it. Ash accumulation, maybe a quarter inch or less. Eye and respiratory irritants. If you've got respiratory issues already, stay indoors, stay in the AC, drink plenty of fluids. Weather right now, there's the temperatures across the state. Pretty cool in Kahului, Hilo, 67s in Lihue and Kaunakakai. We're warmer at 71 and our dew point's a little high, so it is kind of a sticky start to the day. Windward and Mauka showers, definitely wet. And then with no trades, we'll see the pop-up showers perhaps in the afternoon. And the fog is an issue pretty much for all of us across the state, but of course worst for those neighborhoods on the Big Island. Let's come back to Oahu. Get out on those wet roads. Here's Lacey Denise.
And very slick, Dan, out toward the windward side. We're taking a live look here of Likelike and Kahekili Highway. Now, not seeing any major slowdowns because of this, but just be aware that even once you get out of the tunnels on both Likelike and Pali, it's going to be a little slick. Out to the east side, looks like we also had some passing showers earlier, but again, a light drive, Hawaii Kai through Kaimuki into downtown. It's less than a 30-minute commute. To the west side, building here just through Kunia picks up before you get to the merge. On top of that, we do have the zipper lane open from Waikele. Central Oahu, we're clear there out of Eva Beach. No major slowdowns on Fort Weaver, and town spots very quiet from the Middle Street merge. That's your traffic. Back to the news desk.
All right, thank you guys. Sorry. 5:02 right now. The lava activity continues in Lower Puna, but a giant plume of ash has drawn everyone's eyes up to the summit of Kilauea.
And this isn't even the big explosive event that scientists say could happen at any minute. The dark gray plume of ash started soaring out of Halima'uma'u crater into the air yesterday morning. This was about 7 a.m. The cloud was nearly continuous throughout the morning and reached an elevation of about 12,000 feet. The USGS also raised the aviation color code from orange to red, warning pilots to steer clear of Kilauea.
Meanwhile, experts say that this event is not the one that they are most worried about. If the lava interacts with the groundwater, as we've mentioned before, that could create a steam-driven explosion which could blast out huge boulders and rocks. Smaller rocks could travel for miles. Keep in mind, one person was killed back in 1924 near the summit when a similar event occurred. He was hit by falling debris. That is one of the reasons Hawaii Volcano National Park is closed right now. Meleka Lincoln is back on the Big Island this morning covering the impact of that ash on the people who live there.
Good morning to you, Meleka.
Aloha, good morning. Grace, Steve. We are here just outside of Hawaii Volcano's National Park along Highway 11, where you can see the road sign they have put in place. That's because of the massive crowd that gathered yesterday to try to get a closer look at that massive ash cloud. It warns, do not stop for the next 10 miles. And it was put up, I'm told, because officials were worried about the traffic hazard that was created, as so many people were either stopping right on the highway or barely pulling off the highway. There was also, of course, a lot of confusion for many who have been hearing USGS HVO scientists talk for weeks now about the potential of this massive steam explosion that could be caused if the magma dropped low enough to make contact with groundwater. But of course, as you just spoke about, officials say this was not the water-driven explosion that they were most concerned about yesterday. That said, USGS HVO deputy scientist in charge Stephen Brantley did say geologists have detected very very small fragments of fresh magma that have been ejected into that ashy plume. Now, northeast winds carried the ash downstream across Hawaii Island's Ka'u district yesterday, affecting Pahala, Punalu'u, Wood Valley, Na'alehu communities, just to name a few. Officials say water catchment tanks that are typically uncovered need to be covered. Health experts say that the ash is not poisonous. It's a rock powder, but you do want to limit your exposure to it. It does have similar symptoms to being exposed to gas. So, for example, irritant to your eyes, your nose, your respirators. And that's exactly why they're asking folks to have these N95 masks on standby so that you can put them on. It will protect you from ash particles, but keep in mind it does nothing to guard against exposure to sulfur dioxide. We'll have more on this throughout the morning. For now, back to you guys.
Right. Thank you, Mileka.
Volcano School of Arts and Sciences is closed today. The school cited the threat of potential ashfall and dangerous driving conditions. They're planning to reopen tomorrow.
Officials from Hawaii Electric Light say that a light dusting of ash and moisture could lead to electrical short circuits and power outages. A spokesman also said that they have the equipment to wash ash off of utility equipment. But it's the first time they're having to deal with a widespread amount of it. Now, they are warning that extended power outages are possible if the ash covers a large area or damages their equipment. Now, if there is a power outage, people are told to unplug their electronics and appliances and to keep their fridge and freezer closed as much as possible. At last report, 400 customers in Leilani Estates and Lanipuna Gardens are without power because of the ongoing volcanic activity.
Meanwhile, the air quality in southeast Lanipuna Gardens remains at condition red because of all the poisonous sulfur dioxide gas being released from fissures. Officials warned that the quality of gas in the area is an immediate threat to health and could cause choking or even an inability to breathe. Sulfur dioxide is especially dangerous for the elderly, children and babies and people with respiratory problems.
As of midnight last night, 202 people were staying at the Red Cross shelter in Pu'u. Another 41 were staying at the one in Kilauea. About 90 Red Cross workers have been helping out, and we're told that aside from handing out hundreds of blankets, toiletries, and other supplies, they have also provided medical and mental health services to about 840 people. The Red Cross is calling for volunteers from Hawaii Island.
And an update on the Salvation Army Distribution Center in Pahoa. Clothing donations for those affected by the eruption should only be dropped off at the Salvation Army's 3 thrift stores on Hawaii Island. Officials say thrift stores on other islands will not be able to ship donated items. Clothes can be picked up with vouchers from the distribution center. The center is open from 9 a.m. to noon and 2 to 5 p.m. through Friday.
Honolulu is doing its part to help those affected by disasters on the Big Island and Kauai. Nearly 50 workers from the Honolulu Incident Management Team deployed over the past few weeks. Those workers are from the Police, Fire and Emergency Services Departments and the Department of Emergency Management. 11 city personnel are on the Big Island right now for the eruption response. 35 others aided the response to historic flooding on Kauai throughout April, and they finished their operations just last Sunday. Howard.
News around the world at 5:08. North Korea has canceled a meeting with South Korea and threatens to cancel the Trump-Kim summit. No actual cancellation of that, but Trump earlier held out the possibility of canceling. The North says remarks by National Security Advisor John Bolton leave no room for actually negotiating anything. Turkish President Erdogan vanquished his enemies and thumbed his nose at the U.S., but now he's met his match, the Turkish economy. Currency is plunging, inflation is soaring, and in a London meeting with foreign investors, his plans to deal with all that were so unrealistic the wingtips in the room showed shock and disbelief. Russia shows it's keeping Crimea, opening a 12-mile bridge to it. Russians can now drive to Crimea without passing through Ukraine. And the first Russian over the bridge who did was Putin. The Dow is up 1 point.
All right, thank you, Howard.
All right, it is now 5:08. So we're going to tell you why Senator Brian Schatz wants to know more about the effects of technology on children.
Yeah, possibly what else it's doing.
That's right. New numbers explaining why he wants to do this. That's coming up. Right now, here's Lacey Denise.
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, windward Oahu drivers, we're going to have one Kaneohe bound lane shut down along the H3 freeway starting at 9 o'clock this morning at the Harano Tunnel until noon.
watching Hawaii News Now Sunrise. And now, weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
Welcome back. About a 50-minute ride now from Waianae to downtown, 30 out of Makakilo and 30 minutes out of Nihinani. We are building on the H1 freeway just through Kunia. You pick up before the merge. If you did want to use Farrington Highway, that is looking good through both Kapolei and also Waipahu. And once you get to Waikele, the zipper lane wide open there from the Manager's Drive overpass. Kamehameha Highway and Moanalua Road also looking pretty good. Out of Eva Beach, Fort Weaver Road just slowing from Renton, and up in Central Oahu, no slowdowns just yet on both the H2 or even Kamehameha Highway. Town spots light from Middle Street, and we're clear on both Moanalua Freeway and the airport viaducts. Checking in on your east side ride, it was a little slick earlier this morning, but a light ride Hawaii Kai through downtown and across the Ko'olau, easy going on all routes. That's your traffic. Dan's got your weather.
Lacey, thanks. When we talk about winds, we talk about large scale and small scale. The small scale, the local winds you can see are variable. The arrows point every which way and they're light. That's going to be the story throughout the day today. Sea breezes will likely be created by the convective heating that will occur this afternoon. We just don't have the trades blowing. What we do have on the large scale is a flow out of the southeast. You can see that direction there with some of the showers. That's what's bringing the fog up the island chain, but the real serious fog and ash localized to those areas around the volcano itself on the island of Hawaii. There on the islands of Kauai County, pretty clear, pretty dry. We are wet. Windward and Mauka coming over the hill is going to be a slippery situation, so be careful. Fairly dry for the islands of Maui County and some lingering upslope showers there on the west side, the Kilauea side of the Big Island, but no real significant showers there. That's your traffic and weather. Here's Grace Lee.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. Senator Brian Schatz wants to know more about how technology is affecting children. Schatz has requested information from the National Institutes of Health on kids being addicted to technology. A new report says that nearly all homes with children younger than the age of 8 now have a mobile device. The report also found that kids are spending more time on smartphones and tablets, and they're now looking at a mobile screen about 48 minutes per day. Facebook says that just in the first 3 months of 2018, it has deleted more than 860 million posts. Most of them were spam. Others contain nudity, graphic violence, and hate speech. During the same time frame, Facebook also removed about 580 million fake accounts. The social media giant has been criticized for how it monitors content ever since it was revealed how widespread fake news was leading up to the 2016 election. Reports out of China now say that the pilot who was injured when a cockpit window shattered was sucked halfway out of the cockpit. Now, the plane was flying at about 30,000 feet when the window broke. Luckily, the man had his safety belt buckled, and he only suffered scratches and a sprained wrist. A flight attendant was also injured, but none of the plane's 119 passengers were hurt.
The majority of public school teachers across the country say they have used their own money to pay for school supplies. That's according to a new report by the National Center of Education Statistics. During the 2014-2015 school year, teachers spent an average of $479 on supplies. That is far more than the $250 federal tax deduction teachers can actually claim. In recent weeks, low pay for educators have led to massive teacher walkouts in several states, including Arizona, West here. Tesla's electric
Laurel, Laurel, Laurel.
Anybody hear Yanni at all?
No, I hear Laurel.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
I hear Yanni.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Audio
hear
experts say we're divided here. Audio experts say that because the clip is very low quality, it may sound different depending on whether you use speakers or headphones. It can also depend on our hearing frequency range. Think of this as the audio version of the infamous dress, in which everyone seems to disagree on whether it's white and gold or blue and black. Let the controversy continue. How's
wow.
I don't mind hearing Yanni as long as I don't have to listen to Yanni. 5:16 and Pasha, Hawaii is doing it again, collecting supplies for a second container of relief for Puna evacuees. The collection is Saturday, 8 to noon, Pier 51A, Sand Island. Still ahead, the best part of Ward Village is shovel ready. It's Wednesday, the median day of the work week on Sunrise on KGMB and KHNL and HawaiiNewsNow.com.
Time for Howard Deckers.
Okay, good morning. Healthcare, the cost of healthcare first. HMSA, Hawaii's biggest health insurer, posts a winter loss of $18 million. Take out the federal fees for the next 3 quarters that had to be put on the books now, and HMSA would have roughly broken even. Kaiser, the state's second biggest insurer and biggest HMO, posts a $9 million profit for the winter and reports it added 3,000 members over the past year. Tentative agreement between HGEA and the County of Maui to raise some workers' wages to a new base, bringing a predominantly female unit to the same level as one that is predominantly male. 4 new senior VPs at First Hawaiian: Ken Miller, Chief Investment Officer, ex-JP Morgan; Jody Mukaigawa, Kapiolani Team Leader; Lee Nakamura, Investments Division; and David Rare, Legal Services. Howard Hughes Corporation breaks ground on the Ward Village Central Plaza, an open space running from Kewalo Basin inland to a future rail station. In this picture over my shoulder, the other people aren't important, but if you look in there, you'll see Garrett Kamemoto. Hawaiian Airlines executive chef Leanne Wong unveils the new cohort of chefs creating dishes for Hawaiian's long-distance flights. Eric Oto of Hoku's on the right, Guch Noguchi of Pili Group, Leanne in the middle, to her left, Wade Oioka of MW Restaurant, and Seoul's celebrity chef Chang Wook Chung, whose dishes are featured on Hawaiian flights to Seoul.
Ah, cool stuff.
Some talent right there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Howard. It's 5:20 right now. Here's Lacey Denise.
Good morning, Steve. Well, a lot more brake lights heading out of Ewa Beach. It's slow on Fort Weaver as you get to Kilauea. And take a look at our drive time. It's about a 45-minute commute from Ewa Beach to downtown Honolulu. Even up on the freeway, not only are we slowing through Kunia, it's also getting heavier through the H1, H2 merge. We're up to about a 55-minute ride now from Waianae to downtown Honolulu. Keeping an eye on the zipper lane, we are clear all the way through there. Farrington Highway also clear, Kamehameha Highway and Moanalua Road. Now traveling closer into town, not looking too bad on Moanalua Freeway or even the viaduct, breezing in through the Middle Street merge. Across the Ko'olau, a little slick, but light movement on all routes. Same goes for your east side drive. We're clear from Hawaii Kai, but drive with caution. Wet roads along Kalanina Ole Highway. That's your track, Kalanina Ole Highway. That's your traffic. Dan, got your weather.
You know, in that photo Howard was showing, some people saw Garrett Kamemoto, but some people saw James Kawana. So there's this argument.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
I saw both.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there's the surf. You can see there's not much going on. A little bit on the south side, 2 to 4. There's probably even bigger waves coming for the weekend on the south side. It's that time of year. We're going to have pretty consistent southerly flow of energy from storms in the southern hemisphere. The one swell coming this weekend, late Friday into the weekend, will have a much longer period and probably some good sized surf. With the trades returning, conditions could be pretty good in the town surf locations. That's traffic and weather. Back to the news desk and Stephen Grace.
All right, thank you, Dan. As we monitor Kilauea for a possible explosion, we look back at the deadliest eruption from that volcano.
That's right. Back in 1790, there were hundreds of people near the crater, even though eruptions were far more common at that time. We'll explain why coming up next.
You're watching Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
Welcome back, 523. Last week we told you about the deadliest eruption in U.S. history. It happened at Kilauea in 1790. Hundreds or possibly even thousands of native Hawaiians were killed by the eruption. They were near the current location of Jagger Museum at Volcanoes National Park. We'll give you some background on who those people were and why they were there in just a bit. In that 1790 eruption, large blocks of rocks more than 3 feet in diameter were thrown out of the caldera. So we're going to look at a map here, and these are where some of those boulders were found. Now, some of those rocks were found nearly 1.5 miles from the rim. So here's a Kilauea crater here. Jagger Museum would be up in here, but you see how those rocks are all thrown outside the rim here around the edge. It's important to note that this violent explosion happened during a time when explosions themselves were a lot more common, and Kilauea was considered at that time in an explosive period. It's currently what's called an effusive period right now. The hundreds of victims of the 1790 eruption, they were from Keoa's army. Keoa and Kamehameha. Keoa was Kamehameha's first cousin. The two were battling for control of Hawaii Island. Now the story kind of goes like this. Keoa's forces were trying to get to Pu'u, so they went by Kilauea. They made offerings to Pele at a heiau near the crater. The men stayed there for several days, scared that they had angered Pele because of all the activity at the volcano. Eventually, they split up into 3 parties. 2 of the 3 parties were killed by the explosive eruption, and there are actually footprints at Kilauea thought to be from the men. But new research shows that these footprints may or may not specifically be from that event, although they are on the National Register of Historic Places.
So they were either before?
They could be. They're thinking that they're afterwards, but that was what at that time was called a dirty thunderstorm. It's where you have an eruption and there's thunder and lightning that's associated with this volcanic plume, and it created a unique kind of ash which helped to preserve those footprints.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't happen very often. As a matter of fact, I believe it's the only recorded event like that in Kilauea's history, but it happened then at 1790.
That's some very unfortunate timing for being around the volcano.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Billy.
All right, coming up in our top stories, there was a huge ash plume from Kilauea yesterday.
Yeah, what effects we could see today. Mileka is going to be live from Hawaii Island coming up next. Howard.
Economic impacts from the eruption. Coffee growers okay, tour companies not so much. In your next biz, Dan.
Ashfall advisory continues for parts of the island of Hawaii. We'll have that for you. And a change in the forecast is on the way. And now, a woman who's been effusive as long as we've known her. It's Lacey Denise.
Good morning, Dan. We'll check out the H1, H2 merge. We've got some slow-moving traffic heading in from the west side and also changes out of Eva Beach. I have all the traffic details coming up next.
Selected wardrobe for Hawaii News Now anchors provided by Saks Fifth Avenue. Update your look with the latest trends in shoes and handbags at Saks Fifth Avenue, Waikiki.
in high definition from KGMB and KHNL. This is your source for breaking news in the morning. Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
Massive ash plumes filled the skies over Kileuea yesterday. Health concerns grow as the wind carries it over parts of the Big Island. Nileka Lingan is live with the hazards and how to avoid them.
And the lava flow from Fissure 17 is flowing towards one of the last evacuation routes in Puna. How those could change if Highway 137 is cut off.
Good morning to you, Dan.
Good morning. How's the weather looking? We have some light and variable winds, kind of sticky conditions here as we get started with our Wednesday. The trades are in the forecast. They're coming back, but not for a couple of days. There's a live look from our tower cam. Looking back at the mountains, you can see the beautiful lights as they go up the ridges there. And you can also see some clouds. Over on the windward side, it's pretty wet this morning, so we've got that hybrid situation going on, kind of trade wind weather with the windward to Mauka showers. And then later on today, without the trade winds, we're going to see some convective heating that will create some clouds and showers over the interior and leeward neighborhoods. 5:52, that's just a few minutes from now. We'll see the sun up. 7:03 is when it will set. Ashfall advisory, I mentioned that. It's until 8 o'clock this morning. Ash accumulation, a quarter inch or less. Eye and respiratory irritants there. And this is southwest and west of the volcano. Now, the entire state, all the way up the island chain, we're starting to feel and see some volcanic haze, some fog because of a flow.
Can I get an IFB check? Is he giving one?
Yeah, he said you don't hear him?
If he's giving one, then I got him. Yeah. Oh, does he know that I'm on tel 2? Can I get another one, Ian? I'm on tel 2. It's showing that I'm connected, but I'm not hearing you. Oh, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Stand by 1 second, though. Oh, I am hearing echoing. Is that because of me? No, I'm on mute. Oh, so am I going to hear myself echoing the whole time? Do you want to just get... Okay. Understood. Understood. I don't think I need this right now. Yeah, whatever. We're ready whenever you are. Aloha from just outside Hawaii Volcano's National Park, which does remain shut down today out of an abundance of caution for not just visitors but residents as a result of all the activity that is taking place at Hale Ma'u crater and with those gas explosions and rock falls that have been happening consistently throughout the day. Though the activity has quieted down just a bit, we'll talk more about that in just a moment. First, though, we want to tell you about the cracks that have developed across Highway 11. Now, according to Department of Transportation officials and also Highways Division officials with the Hawaii County Civil Defense Agency who are here on the scene, they believe these cracks formed across Highway 11 on the Hilo side of Highway 11, just past Volcano Village, really right near the entrance to Hawaii Volcano's National Park, following a 3.5 magnitude earthquake at about 11:30 this morning. Now, the cracks actually stretch across Highway Highway 11. But at this time, they are allowing traffic to continue to pass through this area, though they are asking drivers to not stop, not pull over at all. Now, this is actually a policy that has been in place since yesterday, when a massive crowd descended upon this area following that massive ash eruption that took place at Halema'uma'u crater, and concern from many that that was the water-driven explosion that USGS HVO scientists had been warning them about for several days now, ever since the lake level at Kilauea summit has been on the decline. As we now know from USGS HVO officials, that is not the case. They again tell us that yesterday's event, as significant as it was, and despite the fact that ash was sent spiraling up into the air anywhere from 10 to 12,000 feet above sea level, they are saying this was not the event, again, that they have been most concerned about. And they say that is still a possibility, but of course, there is no guarantee. That said, as I quieted at Kilauea Volcano Summit today, images that have been taken from the USGS HVO camera that is set up at Halema'uma'u crater show white steam has been billowing out of the crater vent, but nothing like that dark gray ash that was experienced yesterday that could be seen for miles. Now, officials do tell us, though, that USGS HVO scientists are tracking the likelihood of increased activity. Certainly, there has been a lot of seismic activity. There have been more than 40 earthquakes that have been registered since midnight, many of them over 3.0 magnitude, including, again, the 3.5 magnitude earthquake, which they believe prompted those cracks to start to form along Highway 11, just in front of Hawaii Volcano's National Park entrance, which of course does remain closed until they're on the Hilo side between mile markers 28 and 29. And as I mentioned, their officials with the Civil Defense Highways Division and also the State Department of Transportation, who were on the scene assessing the situation, they do clarify that right now it is okay for traffic to continue traveling along Highway 11, both coming from the Puna area and out of the Ka'u communities. Now, at this time, while this road remains open, they do want out of these cracks that have formed along Highway 11. And at this time, no significant possibility of thermal activity. That said, there has been a heavy fogginess, a sulfur odor in the air. The National Weather Service did cancel their ashfall advisory, which was in place as a result of rockfall instances from Halema'uma'u crater. That's one of the reasons why they wanted folks who are downwind in Pahala, Wood Valley, all the way out, I'm told, into areas like Ocean View, Na'alehu. They needed to be aware of the fact that ashfall is a possibility, and that's why they are asking folks to continue to hold on to these N95 masks. Now, exposure to ash is an irritant that we are told is similar to gas exposure. It will give you additional problems if you already experience respiratory difficulties, if you happen to have allergies, asthma, emphysema. You're told to stay out of the area altogether. But it can also cause watery, itchy eyes, a sore or irritated throat and airways. And that's why, again, they're telling folks that the best way to avoid that is to just stay out of the area altogether and to always have your N95 mask on standby. You can see it here again. This is very similar to just one of the medical masks that you would see doctors or other medical professionals use. They do warn, however, that this mask does not provide any protection from sulfur dioxide. Sulfur poisoning, again, is not something that the N95 mask can help to protect or guard you against, which is exactly why that red alert remains in place in Lenni Puna Gardens subdivision and across the farm lots that are nearby on Poho'iki Road because of those elevated sulfur dioxide levels that have been detected in the air. So significant, in fact, that we know an individual was rushed from Leilani Estates yesterday to the hospital with the possibility of sulfur poisoning after Fisher 6 reopened back up. That, of course, was along Leilani Avenue in an area that has been inactive in terms of lava activity for several days now. But this is exactly why officials say they caution those who are re-entering the evacuation zone to either gather additional belongings at their own risk. Conditions can change very quickly, and that was certainly the case